Welcome to Cooking the Books, the food and hospitality podcast discussing all aspects of the industry. We interview chefs, butchers, brewers, winemakers, restaurateurs, restaurant managers, and we talk about how they got to this point, through the good times and the bad, and what they've got planned for the future. This is Cooking the Books. This week on the podcast, we had Chef John Rivera. John was San Pellegrino's 2018 Pacific Region winner. And hot off the press, first interview since he's got the new gig. He's the new head chef, or he's going to be the new head chef of Lûmé restaurant in South Melbourne. John is the new generation of chef that's coming up. It was very interesting to listen to him and his thoughts of where he thinks Australian food's going, the way the kitchen culture is moving and changing, also his view on the hours, and also he told us all about his trip to Milan to represent Australia and the Pacific in the San Pellegrino competition. I hope everyone enjoys it. This week, the podcast is brought to you by City Larder, the charcuterie specialist, specialising in terrines, pâtés and rillettes for the retail and food service market here in Australia. City Larder just received 2 gold medals for the free-range chicken leek and truffle terrine and also the free-range chicken liver pâté. The only charcuterie company to receive gold medals for terrines, pâtés or rillettes this year in the Australian Food Awards. Now, over to the show. John, awesome. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Rob.
It's been a while. How long has it been?
We've worked together in about 2013, 2012.
Yeah, and we've seen you at the market a couple of times.
The markets, I love getting some of your pastries and your pies for breakfast.
Yeah. How's it going? Are you good?
It's good, very good. Yeah,
You've had an exciting few years.
I have. It's been a big year. I'm very, very blessed to have such a big year that I had.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell everyone? Tell everyone who you are and what you did this year, especially. Well, what you've done, but what you did especially this year.
Hello, everyone. My name's John Rivera. I represented the Pacific region in the global final of San Pellegrino's Young Chef competition in 2018, and we'll soon to be the head chef / executive chef of a restaurant Lûmé in South Melbourne.
That's amazing. That's congratulations.
Thank you very much, Robbie.
on both achievements. It's fantastic.
So
It's been a quick rise. I'm not going to lie. You know, it was. I remember when you were a waiter. You know, what was that? 5 years ago? Something 6 years ago?
It was about 6-7 years ago.
Was it far out? Okay.
I was 18 years old when I went on the floor at Rockpool Bar and Grill when I met you.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a whirlwind as well. I started polishing glasses and cutlery, and then I got dragged onto the floor doing a section in a 400 cover restaurant. So I think getting thrown in the deep end has always been part of my career.
Yeah, the way you go, where you learn.
Yeah.
What, why did you choose Rockpool? Like, were you intending to be you college or let me spit this out. Why did you choose Rockpool to come and polish glasses as a in?
I'm not gonna lie. So what happened was I was in a pastry school in William Angliss, and at that time I was still working at KFC, which was my high school job. And I was walking down Crown, and I said, "Oh, there's so many great restaurants here. You know, like Rockpool sticks out. That's Neil Perry. Spice Temple sticks out. That's Neil Perry. You know, Bistro Guillaume. And I just needed another job, so I went on the website looking for a polisher, sent my resume in, got the job within the week, and you know, for me, that was the foot in the door to the industry. It was like I knew as soon as I got there, I just had to prove myself, and like eventually, hopefully, end up in the kitchen.
Yeah. So why didn't you go straight for a kitchen job? Were you just like, you weren't that interested? Did you want to slowly end? What was it? Were you nervous?
I was young.
Yeah.
I had this idea that eventually I would have to work 80 hours, 90 hours a week, not see my family, not have fun. So while I was still in college, I wanted to take weekends off, have heaps of money, see my girlfriend, see my friends, and just have fun until I really, really knuckled down and had no more time for that.
Yeah, but looking back, it probably was a great thing to have that experience on the floor.
Yeah. And I talk about it now with a lot of general managers in front of house that a lot of chefs and cooks should do some time on the floor, because it's so easy to take for granted what the front of house do and the art that they actually do to make your food and the whole experience a whole experience. And just for as a young cook as well, to have that charisma and that confidence to speak to guests, to speak to their guests about their food, about their experience, even about wine. That's paramount now in these days as a cook, as a young chef.
Yeah, a lot of it, it's basically what you said, is a lot of restaurants are expecting you to do that nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, it's gone are the days where the chef is just in the kitchen barking orders. Chefs now are rock stars, they're celebrities almost. People want to see the cook, the chefs, and there's like when I was working at Amaru, and also when I was working at Lûmé previously. At Amaru, we take about 90% of the food out to guests, and that twinkle in the eye, the excitement of the guests when the chef actually comes out and takes their food themselves and explain to them what they've done, how they've prepared it, why they've prepared it. That enhances the experience. It makes it so much better for the guest, I feel, especially for me. When I see one of the cooks come out from the kitchen and they serve me, it's almost like a family member serving you, or someone's proud of what they've made.
Yeah, the delivery's a lot better. They know it a bit more clearly, and they can. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I totally agree. So is it the South Pacific region, 2018 San Pellegrino winner?
Yes. So I won the Pacific region, which was Australia and New Zealand, and I guess the whole rest of the Pacific. So there was 10 of us in the semi-finals, and we had to cook for panel consisting of Scott Pickett, Paul Carmichael, Christine Mansfield, Jacques Ramond, and Andrew McConnell. It was a massive, massive heat. I started cooking at about 8 o'clock in the morning. You had 5 hours to just smash out 7 portions, and then I got through from that. I wasn't never a big competition chef. I was kind of egged on by Sean Quaid to do the competition. He said, it'll be a good opportunity to test yourself. It's not about winning. It's never about winning. Just go, make friends, make connections. Connections,
exactly, 100%.
And just gauge yourself as well, what you can do, what your creativity is like, or how good, And I just ended up taking it out. I was massive. So then we went off to Milan for the grand finale. So there's 21 regions all over the world. So all the winners of that region came to Milan for the grand final, and it was actually a crazy cull of contestants, because it went from like 2,400 all over the world.
That was the initial entry?
Yeah, initial entry, and that got culled to 210 across 21 regions into 21. So it was just like...
Yeah, big chunks.
Yeah, but for me, making it to Milan was and it's like I felt like we won already.
Yeah,
like a lot of
a free trip.
Yeah, free trip to Milan. You're getting put up in 4-star, 5-star accommodation.
And I'm guessing they'll have put things on for you. They're not going to just fly you out there, do the competition, and fly you back. Did they put things on?
No, they during the week, we had dinners with all the previous young chefs, and dinners by Carlo Cracco in like one of the fanciest bars in Milan. And pizza by the best pizzaiolo in Italy. So they were really showing off, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Really showing off.
Well, it's San Pellegrino. It's a top 50, which is probably one of the most recognised lists in the culinary world now, isn't it?
It is.
There's a Michelin guide, obviously, but then everyone gets excited for the top 50. Yeah. There's no two ways about it.
I think it's one of the most socially influential lists right now, that's San Pellegrino.
Yeah.
And they love to party. We saw it in Melbourne last year, and Bilbao looked like the same, and honestly, San Pellegrino young chef was about the same. I mean,
I went to that party, the top 50.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, it was awesome. Rockpool did the catering.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I got the opportunity to go, and then the after party, and it was
Yeah, was it Dominique Crenn spraying champagne all over everyone?
Right, yeah. And it was Neil Perry's birthday as well.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I think I got in at 7:30 that morning, and then I had to. Oh, it was a messy all day.
Oh.
It was a rough day the next day. Orders going out, but yeah, it was awesome. So in the competition, you had to do. Was it one dish?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one dish. It was it's a signature dish competition. So it's the dish that we entered with, that we won the region with, and then after you win the region, you get about 6 months to refine the dish with your mentor. So Scott Pickett and I from previous ESP, now Matilda and Nostal Bistro, we refined that for that past 6 months. Presentation, how to cook it, how it could be done better, what more techniques we can put in, and how we can make it more uniquely Australian and Filipino at the same time. So I presented a take on sinigang, which is a Filipino hot and sour soup, and it was something that was deep in my heart because it's one of those meals I eat. It's like, yeah, it makes you feel that you're at home.
Like chicken soup or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I had to put an Australian twist to it. Of course, all of my culinary training came from Australia, so I used a lot of native ingredients.
And you were born here? You were born here?
I was born in the Philippines.
Oh, born in the Philippines.
Yeah. But I grew up in New Zealand. I grew up here.
Yeah.
So I used hapuka for the fish, which is a fish I ate a lot in New Zealand. I used mountain pepper to add the spice instead of chilies or regular pepper. It's a native pepper from Tasmania. What else? I used native tamarind from Queensland, from the rainforest in Queensland, instead of usual tamarind that we'll find in Asia. So I was really proud to also showcase those ingredients over in Milan.
Yeah, for sure. Were people like I don't know, it's the Filipino cuisine, no disrespect, isn't as popular as the Thai cuisine or the Vietnamese. I wouldn't have said. Maybe I'm wrong, but were people quite like, oh, Filipino, this is awesome? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's not as popular. I feel like because Thai and Vietnamese cuisine is so vibrant, and Filipino cuisine, I like to say it's about 50 shades of brown. It's a lot of braises and a lot of preserves, but also the way that Filipino history came about with years of colonization from the Spanish, the Americans. They've always looked to their colonizers before they look to their own culture.
Yeah.
So you eat out in the Philippines, and you'll always eat foreign. You'll always eat American or French or Italian. If you eat out and eat Filipino food, Filipinos will say, "Oh, my mum can make that. Why are we spending money on that? I can make that myself." I feel like that kind of not devalues your heritage. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it kind of puts it on a lower level. And for me, I wanted to show Filipinos across the world, or like young Filipino cooks who are so passionate about it, that you can elevate your cuisine or your heritage to that level with just a little bit of creativity, a little bit of know-how, a little bit of
Yeah, it is. It's great that you want to do that, and it's part of you at the end of the day. So like, why wouldn't you want to? You've got a mixed bag of tricks, haven't you? You've got the Australian and New Zealand, and then and your heritage is Filipino. Yeah. So yeah, showcase that, absolutely.
And I think that's so modern. Like when people ask you what is modern Australian, like you can't really answer it but to me, that kind of melting pot of cultures, that is modern Australia to me, because I grew up in a neighborhood full of Filipinos, Indians, Sudanese, and you could go to a takeaway shop, get Indian, get Ethiopian, you get Australians just love to eat different cultures and eat food from different cultures, and our palates are so much better for that. So that's what I wanted to relay to Milan as well, that we're such a melting pot of cultures and we're so much better for that, and we haven't even reached our potential.
Definitely. I think that about England, coming from England, we're so close to everywhere, and a lot of people come there French, Italian, German, Indian, Spanish, Portuguese. That it really benefits. The culinary scene really benefits from that. Jamaicans and Africans and everything in England. Like you say, Australia is definitely getting like that. Where like, what is English food? When I think of English food, I think more Indian than anything else, probably, to be totally honest with you. Like, that's what I grew up on, curries and all the rest of it. So, Australians definitely getting like that. What was it like on the day then? So you get to Milan, you're like, oh, here we go, competition. You're on the plane, and you think, who was with you?
So my fiance flew over with me. We had a couple of troubles, actually, a couple of days before. So I...
Wouldn't give you a visa.
No, no. Actually, funnily enough, that was a bloke from Africa. He arrived on the day because they didn't give him his visa, and he got to Milan and they accused him of a fake passport. But he got there in the end. And
He got there
and he smashed it. He had a great dish. He made it to the top 7 with us.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, but so I sent all my stuff over by courier. So all my equipment, all my charcoal and all my ingredients and my barbecue. So I sent that off maybe 3 days before I left, and I was on the way to work. I was about 5 minutes away from work in Armidale, and I get a call from my sister saying, "Hey, all your boxes just got sent back by DHL." And I said, "Oh, no way." So drove back home 40 minutes. I called up work. I said, "I can't come to work today. I got to sort this out, or I'm not cooking anything in Milan." Turns out, well, fair enough, charcoal can't fly over because it's a fire hazard. It's fine, I can get charcoal over there. But turns out I can't export any of my native ingredients either. So all my warrigal greens, all my mountain pepper, all that stuff that I want to take with me, the Australian government or the authority would not let out of the airport. So spend the whole day trying to call up people. Like, how do I get it over there? How to get over there? Pretty much I said, you can't post it within the next week. You have to get all these certificates and checks and whatnot. So I sent all the other boxes, which are
the equipment.
I just sent it. It'll be over there. And my fiance and I decided to just put all of that into a styrofoam box, label it, San Pellegrino Young Chef, ingredients, blah, blah, blah. Took it with us.
To the airport?
Checked it in. San Pellegrino were great enough to buy me extra luggage for it in emergency. So I was more concerned about going up in the air in the fuselage, and it was like, minus something. All my fresh warrigal greens are freezing.
Yeah.
Then we land in Doha, and it's 36 degrees at 7 a.m. on the tarmac.
Yeah.
So it was, and then go up again and come down.
You're just going to open that box and everything's just ruined. That's what you're thinking, right?
So we get to Milan and then the box is right there. I was like, okay, cool.
Were you nervous opening it?
I was more nervous trying to get out of immigration because I thought, Australia's a bit strict. I might get, patted down for this. So I put my box in the trolley, walking out. There's 2 immigration officers like standing in front of me. They couldn't care less. Just walk right past them. Like, okay. And then I see the nothing to declare line. It was about, 10 meters from there to the exit. And I just said, nah, you know what? Stuff it. I'm going for it. Just went out. And my fiance's just like, you have to declare all that. I'm like, nah, babe. Nah, we're good. So I opened it all up. It was all perfect. Oh, it was fine. It was great. And I was just like, yeah, sweet.
That's good.
Awesome. But in that time that I was worrying about that box being fine, I forgot that I checked in another piece of luggage, and I forgot one there. So I'm in the car. They sorted out a Mercedes-Benz to pick us up, and I was like, this is alive, we're in Milan, or in a Mercedes. We just pulled off the biggest heist in history. I get a call from the airport. Mr. Rivera, you left one of your bags here. Like, oh shit. Turned him around.
Did you get it though?
We got it. Turns out all my knives were in that one. So.
I could imagine though, your mind's totally distracted on that one, but it all come good. So you get there, and then how long are you there before the day of the competition?
I was there a week before, just to acclimatise.
Yeah.
I thought
big fight coming up.
Big fight. You got to acclimatise. Eat as much gelato as you can now. I thought it'd be fine. We got there in midday. We're like, yeah, we're great. We'll go out tonight. We'll see Milan. Got to the room, freshened up, laid on the bed about 5 minutes, and woke up at about 11 o'clock at night. I was like, yep, we're jet lagged.
Yeah.
But we got there a week before. Met up with Jake Kelly from Singapore. He was so we practiced a little bit over at the Mandarin Oriental beforehand, and so we got there on the Sunday. the program started on the Thursday, and we had a dinner with all the mentors and young chefs. And then the next day, on the Friday, which was the official opening, we had a dinner with with Carlo Cracco and all the judges and all the media and stuff. That was a massive party. And then Saturday was game time. So I cooked in the second round, but that 5 hours just...
How many people were in the kitchen at the time doing this competition?
There were 5 kitchens. Oh, sorry. So there was 7 kitchens in the studio. So there's 3 rounds of 7. In the first day, there's 2 rounds. And they start 10 minutes apart from each other. It was very, very strict. You started at that time and you ended...
So no one else is in your kitchen? Is that what you're saying?
It was me. I had a commie with me to help me cook, and I had a runner to run all the stuff.
But your team? There's not like other people sharing your space?
No.
Yeah,
so everyone gets their own kitchen. It was pretty good, but...
Yeah. And do you know the commie or do you know the runner?
No,
you just get given them?
You get given them. Luckily, I had a very, very good commie, and he was super invested in it. He's like, I'm here to help you win. I'm here to to
what
do
nationality?
He was Italian. They're all Italian from the cooking school.
Yeah.
So he was very, very good. He pushed on like a horse.
Yeah.
Scotty was there making sure that everything went to plan. All of our jobs and all of our tasks were in by time. So within the first hour, I had to have all this done, and Scotty was there keeping me on track.
So he's there, he's like the coach.
Yeah.
This needs to be done by this time. This needs to be done by that time. You're ahead of schedule. Just take it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was probably the quickest 5 hours I've ever had in my life.
I could imagine. Farting and that. Can't stop farting. It's like so nervous.
I was definitely sweating, and it was the first time I've ever worn a toque, and I sweat so much, my toque kept blowing out. So I used about 3 or 4 toques the whole time. And then I don't usually wear the waist aprons. I usually like the bib aprons, so I always get something on myself. And I was like, oh, you know what? It was about maybe 30 minutes before presentation to the judges. You're presenting to Paul Perret, Dominic Crenn, Anna Ross, Virgilio Martinez and Margarita Flores, to name a few.
Yeah. Couple of amateurs.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm pretty clean. And I go on there and I'm putting like a brown puree into a bag and I splatter it all over myself. Oh. I said, great.
Oh, well. Never mind. Yeah, exactly. And then what? It was like, okay, John, you're up in 5 minutes. Is everything going to be ready in 5? Is that what it is? Or they give you the heads up and then you're like, and then... You just played 7. Do you have to play it up all on your own? Or
so you played 10, actually.
10, fuck.
You played 10 and you
table of 10 on your own, main course.
Oh, you and your commie have to do it, but so you have a countdown clock on your kitchen, and Scotty's there is always on my back. So you have 5 hours to cook and 10 minutes to present.
Yeah.
And you can go into your presentation time for plating. So I went into my presentation time a little bit just to make sure everything was hot to go up. That was very, very important to me. So I had about 6 minutes to present, which was fine. But
present, do you have to take it to them and explain it?
So you take 7 portions out to the judges. 1 portion gets placed in front of them. So kind of there's a crowd of 150 as well watching it.
Is there?
It was a massive like.
Oh, so you're in cubicles. I get it. Yeah. So it's like a big competition. I get it.
Yeah.
I was envisaging like in a hotel. I don't know why. Of course they're going to make a big deal out of it.
It was live streamed. It was a massive presentation. There's camera crews in front of you, like recording you plate, and then all right, John Rivera's ready to present, or whoever's ready to present. Massive round of applause, and you're walking down this kind of like aisle, this single aisle, straight to the judges, and you're just like shitting yourself.
Yeah, of course. Shaking and that.
Yeah,
of course.
This is like, you worked the past year for this moment. But yeah, it was...
What an experience.
It was great.
What a bloody experience. That's honestly, again, congratulations.
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
I was buzzing. When I seen it, I was over the moon for it. I was like, that's fucking so good. What, like, that's it forever now. You've got that. Not many people get that. It's a real opportunity. It was awesome and you well deserved. From that, you went to... You got an opportunity to do MasterChef as well, which is massive over here. MasterChef's fucking huge over here.
So from that, MasterChef kind of contacted Amaru and said, we'd like to have you come and do an immunity challenge over MasterChef. And I said, you know what? Oh, and they said it was Gordon week as well. I said, wow, okay, I can tick 3 things off my bucket list at once: meet Gordon Ramsay, go on MasterChef, and be on TV. So okay, yeah, of course, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a fun experience. It's
Did you meet Gordon?
I met Gordon. Yeah, Gordon's a hell of a guy. He's very not intimidating, but his stature.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
But he's not like what he used to be in Boiling Point or anything. He's very toned out now. He's actually
4 kids or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. Them testosterone balls are nearly fucked, I should imagine. So like an old horse,
Yeah, but so it was kind of like a immunity challenge. There's 3 pins up for grabs. There's 3 chefs. So Joe Barrett was one. Joe Barrett from Oak Ridge and Gavin Hughes from Byron on Byron up in Byron Bay. MasterChef is intense.
Oh,
like you don't realize how hard it actually is. Like it all looks fun in games on TV, and people think it's rigged or it's staged. It's not. Like these guys can actually cook, and when you're put in, when you're put under pressure with 1 hour to cook, and
an hour is fuck all.
It's fuck all. By the time you pick your ingredients,
by the time you've made your cup of tea,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? And checked Instagram, and there's only like 45 minutes left.
Yeah, and you're like, well, shit. Should cook something.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like pick your ingredient. It's nothing. It's nothing. 1 hour is nothing. Like we're joking, but it really isn't to create something.
So no, it was a good experience because we were talking about it. So often cooks get like stuck in that routine. You do the same prep every day. You do the same thing every day. Almost your week or your day is always planned out, and you know what you're going to do. So it becomes like muscle memory.
Yeah.
And to go in there in a new kitchen with cameras in front of you, with
the pressure,
something on the line, you have to make something up, and
and you don't want to make yourself look like a fucking idiot in front of everyone. You know what I mean? You're nervous that people are going to bag you, like, know it. Even though no one is, because anyone that does do that is just a fucking prick. But like, it's still there.
Yeah, you still want to do well. Like, you still want to put something up that looks nice, that tastes nice. But it was like this is a great experience because it forces you out of your comfort zone. It brings you back to cooking and like thinking on your feet and being creative.
So it went up to you then. I do feel like some of them are stitch-ups. I think it was Charlie. You remember Charlie?
Yeah.
I think he's at Atlas, I think it is.
Yeah.
He went on there. I think it was him. I might be wrong, but another one that I watched. And he got like candy, like chocolate, or like, so, do you know what I mean? Like, it was like all like Mars bars and like, what the fuck are you going to do with that? Seriously. Like, that's just a pure stitch-up.
Yeah. Well, in the end of the day, it's a TV show. You got to do it for the ratings, and you got to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And you can't knock them for it, but it's a great experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just getting used to being in that pressure and the cameras and all the rest of it. Who knows where that leads in the future? Now you've been in front of cameras a few times. Next time it's going to get easier and easier and easier. So next time someone says, "Oh, can you come and do this demo?" and you're going to be like, "Well, yeah, I've done 2 in the biggest in the world." Well, I can easily do another one.
Yeah.
So it's more and more you do. So it's all great experience.
Yeah.
You like you say, you worked at Rockpool, you worked at Lûmé and at Amaru. Is it Amaru? Yeah. What made you choose them restaurants?
When I chose Rockpool,
well, both 2 Rockpools.
I worked 2 Rockpools. I chose Bar and Grill because it was talking with the chefs there and talking with yourself as well. I remember you said you focus on the basics first. One of the If you remember Stefan, he's at Plaza Ballroom now. He's absolutely doing great things over there with his pastry. And yourself and Zach and Will at the time was like, you need to walk before you run. You need to lock down the basics, learn the basics, be comfortable with the basics before you try to do any fancy stuff. Because
you're predominantly in pastry at this point, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were interested in pastry.
Yeah. Without that firm foundation, you can't build on top of that. I spent a good time there, and I really wanted to get into fine dining. And at that time, Rockpool in Sydney had just moved to the new place. Phil was doing something really exciting with the menu and the food, and with Asian food as well, which is something I really, really like. So I went over there and did that. Learned more advanced basics with pastry, and then one thing that you said to me really resonated at that time was that, because you asked me what. Do you think you're going to keep doing pastry for the rest of your life, or do you want to, do something else? And I said, I don't know yet, blah, 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 little kid. you said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to learn everything else, and then you make your choice. So then I decided to go do the savory side and learn all that stuff too. After that, I had not done pastry since. Which is, so I chose Rockpool because of that.
It was an easy step, wasn't it? Like, not an easy, I'm not saying it was a cop-out because you had to move away. You had to leave Melbourne, leave your family at 22 or whatever it was and go to Sydney. So it wasn't easy. But it was a fine dining restaurant. Phil Wood's a really, a banging chef, really up-and-coming, young, not like he hasn't made it, but I'm just saying, it was the hot prospect. And and it was an easy change. You worked in the company, and it worked out pretty well.
It was an easy way of getting to a 3-hat restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Using contacts. Yeah, you're already in the company. You had to prove yourself, but it was an easy way to get into a 3-hat restaurant.
I still did a trial, and I still had to work for that. And you actually helped me a lot for that. So thank you very much for getting me there.
That's all right.
I remember nagging you for nights on end. Like, has Phil said anything? Has Phil said anything?
So we were doing the orders. Do you remember? I was doing the orders, and I said, right, I'll just ring him now.
Yeah, and then he said, he's got to come over, and that was a night kind of changed my life. I was like, okay, now it's happening. Now I'm a big boy. Now I got to move away from home. Yeah,
and everyone's like, why are you getting John a job in Sydney? Like, now we're chef down. I'm like, he'll be all right. We'll find someone else. It's all good.
I came back from Sydney after 2 years, and I staged at Attica and I staged at Bray, and both weren't really for me.
Why is that?
Attica was great in that the people you meet there, because so many people from different backgrounds and different countries go there, and you learn from them, and you make these connections. But I still needed to learn how to cook, and quite frankly, I don't feel like I would learn how to properly cook at Attica.
Yeah, you may get put on one section and just doing that one thing over and over again. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and but still happy I went there. I met some great people. I met Peter Gunn. I met Zach First from Ides, and a whole bunch of other people as well that I still keep in contact with.
Yeah, not all jobs are for everyone.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I went to Bray for a couple of weeks, and that was a great experience. I'm not gonna lie. I really liked Bray, but it was a massive push there. You were in the shit 24/7. It was like 7 o'clock starts and 2 a.m. finishes. And I'm pretty sure at one point, we ran out of Vietnamese mint in the garden. So we were back in the lodge where all the stagiaires stayed at 2:30 a.m. I had my car pointed towards the garden, headlights on, and we're picking Vietnamese mint for the next service. And that was when Bray still first kind of opened, like a year after. There was only still 5 chefs in the kitchen. Now they've got a team of them. So
early days.
Yeah, it was still early days. But for me, I was a city boy. That was still
it's out in the country, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Out in the country. It's a massive change for me again. It felt like I just got away from Sydney so I could be back with my family again, and then to go to Bray or stay at Bray, and I ask for a job at Bray. That was moving away again.
Yeah.
And that point, Lûmé had kind of just opened up, and so I shot them. And they were very ambitious. They were doing something different and quirky, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I want to get myself into there and check them out and learn some more different techniques. So I shot Sean a message, and he got back to me, and pretty much did a trial there, and I enjoyed it, and they wanted me on board, and I stayed on there for about 2 years, and I did my rounds, and Sean was very, very good in that time, because he would find potential in everybody, and every week we'd have to do a project of our own, like something that we've been thinking about or wanted to put on a plate, but we never had a chance. He gave us that chance to be creative.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And also his food's just so different. The way he thinks about food and people's perception of food is so different, and also how he would he would make sure you took ownership for the restaurant itself, not just your section, but he made you think like a restaurateur, which at a young age was very good, because it's not every day where you have to think about the business as a whole as well. So I really matured in that.
He sounds awesome. That sounds like an awesome experience.
Yeah, he's a very, very good mentor of mine. But I spent 2 years there, and once you kind of feel like you've done all the sections and you hit your ceiling, and you just got to go somewhere else to refresh. And actually working at Lûmé, I met Clinton McIver, who owns Amaru. And Clinton used to be the sous chef at Vue de Monde. He's got an incredible palate. He's got great technique. And I feel like I needed to be at Amaru for the year I was there. He taught me how to cook instinctively. A lot of, I think during that time there was a lot of sous videing and a lot of cooking things in bags. It's easy to forget how to just cook by feel.
Yeah, roasting roasting things and basting and having a feel of how hard it is, how soft it is,
and how differently things react. One piece of beef is different to another piece of beef. How
depending how long it's been hung, how much moisture content's in there.
A carrot or like a Jerusalem artichoke at the start of the season is so different to the end of the season.
Even in the week you've had it, if it's sat in the fridge or whatever else, dehydrating or for sure.
Clinton's instincts for that is just so amazing, and so I learned that from him, and how to kind of roll the punches as well, and how to
just working with the ingredients.
Yeah,
just reacting to the situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like that.
Reaction cooking.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you pull a piece of meat out of the oven. It's like you feel, and it's like, what, that needs a little bit more. That's perfect, or that just needs a bit of resting. I needed to learn that.
Yeah.
I think every cook needs to learn that.
Repetition is the best for that.
It is, yeah. And the year I did that, it was just like, you get it in your bones, and it makes you so much more confident as a cook and so much more complete as a cook as well.
Yeah, I think that back in the day, that was. I was talking to recently, saying that you used to be on a section for like 2.5 years. You'd be on the meat for 2.5 years. Like, you soon learn that's in you. After that, you've cooked so many duck breasts, or you've cooked so many racks of lamb, or you've cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've just done it so many times. It's like you say, that style of cooking, it's important. I think it's coming back more and more.
Definitely. I think a lot more people cooking over fire and raw. And elemental cooking, like charcoal, wood, fire. It's great, but you need a lot more, I guess, know-how, experience, and skill to be able to cook on that, because you need to be able to feel the meat, feel the fire, feel the heat. Where to put things, where not to put things, and
definitely, I agree. At the end of the day, you're going to be the future of Australian food. Your generation, as you come through, and you've got the new job and that. Where do you think Australian food's going to be in the next 10 years?
I think definitely in the next 10 years, we're going to see Australian food maybe stamp down their own culture or identity of how we cook. We're still finding our feet now, I think, but I think it's definitely going to revolve around cooking with fire, cooking with premium ingredients. We've got absolutely amazing ingredients, amazing beef, amazing seafood, amazing produce, and the selection you can find all throughout Australia, just because how so large we are and how broad the climates are, and also native ingredients. Native ingredients are already taking off now.
Definitely. A lot of people are starting to work with the indigenous people and listen to them guys and find out how to cook some of the indigenous ingredients. I think that as well.
The more knowledge we have about these ingredients as well, the better our food culture is going to be. Forgive me if I'm wrong with all my ignorance. I've never been to Norway or Scandinavia, but they take pride in what they can find there, and they make their food so unique to what's there as well. And I think we can do the same thing here in Australia.
I definitely believe that's the case as well with the native ingredients. I think that is probably the key that's been missing over the last few years, 20 years, 30, whatever it is to get the native, the indigenous people involved in this, learning from them, and that's how you're going to get your own identity. Yeah. But then, because Australia is so diverse in cultures, Filipino, especially the Asian, Chinese, Japanese, and Indian and English. I know not Asian, but all these different cultures will bring their stamp on it, and that's I think. But I think the key is the native ingredients. That's where you'll get the true Australian cuisine.
Yeah, it makes it so much more interesting, and it makes it so uniquely Australian. I think the best example for that right now is doing something really great is Sunda dining, where they're combining Southeast Asian flavors with native ingredients, and it's not in a tacky way where you're putting a little bit of finger lime there, or a bit of saltbush there. You're really having a thought and not replacing, but putting native ingredients in place of what you would usually use, and having that great marriage of flavors. So they're doing really, really well there, and of course, Attica and Orana are doing great things with native ingredients.
Attica love it, don't they?
They're doing some crazy stuff. They did like a wattle soy or wattle seed soy a couple of months ago, and I was just like, that's pretty smart.
It takes them people to be doing that, and to be able to shout from the rooftops, look at what we've got and that. And he's doing a fantastic job, Ben Shuri, with that, for sure.
Definitely.
And kitchens are changing as well, not just the food. Kitchens are changing from that whole shouting and screaming, where I think now it's it's a lot more calm, a lot more of a nurturing environment these days.
I think gone are the days of Gordon Ramsay's boiling point, or those old school kitchens where you live out of fear. You work out of fear for the chef, and for me, I never want to go to work and be afraid of anybody. I want to go to work, have fun, cook great food. You cook better when in a comfortable environment, or an environment you want to be in. And people just don't learn from getting yelled at. We've already had so many cases of mental health issues and whatnot in our industry. We don't need more of that. And it's better to actually nurture somebody, to teach them, to guide them along. I mean, I guess in the heat of service, things fly up in the air. Not literally, but
tempers, or exactly.
It's just because we all want perfection, and we just all want a better experience for the guest. But we'll never. I don't think there's a culture of abuse anymore, or there shouldn't be a culture of abusing people anymore, harassing people anymore. Especially physically touching people or like harming them. That's not on anymore. And
for sure.
No, I think working hours now are getting a lot better.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of that? Where do you think that sits?
I definitely think we can all work less. We'd all like to work less.
What do you think is a good hour to be working a week? A good amount of hours, should I say, to be working in a week?
Like realistically?
Yeah.
Realistically, to make, I guess, in a small fine dining restaurant happen, you're kind of looking in between 55 and 60 hours. That's great. You probably rock up to work 11, 12 o'clock, and then, you clock off at about 11.
So that's in an environment that's just open for dinner, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to clock in earlier for lunches.
But you think 55 to 60 hours is a... Because now it's 38, I think it's like 40 hours, not even 40 hours.
No, I think the people at Rockpool, they work about 48 hours a week, 40, like a little bit less than that.
I think it's down to 40 hours. I should have looked at it beforehand, but I'm pretty sure it's 40 hours is the maximum working week now for full time.
Yeah, and that's great. You get heaps of time with your family, you get time for yourself, you get time to unwind. And I guess, it's a hard thing to talk about. It's a hard thing to... You look at small restaurants, fine dining restaurants who have very small margins of profit and all that, and they'd all like to give their staff like 40-hour weeks, but we just can't. And I guess we have to understand that if you want to make something great, you have to put work into it, and small businesses like that just can't afford to work
exactly.
that.
No, exactly. I agree. It's like you say, it's such a tough conversation because big corporations, Crown and these kind of places where they're making millions and millions of dollars profit, but like the small family-owned restaurant, it's such a tough one. Them smaller restaurants are kind of saying, we can't pay you much, we're going to ask you to work a lot, but what we will do is we'll give you our heart and soul in training. I mean? We'll train you, we'll nurture you, and we'll try and progress, and we're always here for you. That's kind of what the smaller restaurant's saying, is we can't match in every other way, but that's what we'll do. So that the hours thing really affects them businesses. But should you be allowed to... It's the same thing. Some people ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Some people are getting people to work 78 hours a week, paying them for 35, and still not giving them any training and just abusing the system. That's the problem.
That's the problem. Those people are that's bringing this industry down.
Because you can't even sign out of it now. So no, you can't opt out of it. It's not like in England you used to be able to sign out of it. So you could say, look, I'm working for this restaurant. I'm happy with the pay. And I don't mind working 70 hours because I believe this is going to be, good for my career in the future. I can put it on my resume. I can use their contacts. If I want to go and work in America, they'll put me onto that.
Yeah.
These kind of things aren't for free. That's why you work for someone for not much money, and you're prepared to work your balls off because you get that. But now that you can't even opt out of it, so the business will get into trouble. If the business, if the government come and say, well, be like, but don't worry, we look after him. We fill his car up with petrol every now and again, or whatever. I take him to the football or whatever it might be. They don't give two fucks. That's it. Yeah. That's it. You'll get a big bill, a big fine, and they'll say you can't do that. And you say, no, it's all right. So it's really difficult. It's really because I hate the people that do abuse this system.
Yeah.
But on the same hand, the small people who will love it, who are bringing on the apprentices and nurturing them and really spending the time on them. Well, it's just giving it up for big corporations.
Yeah, but that's family-like environment. You all got each other's backs. You all support each other. You're not going to be abused. You're not going to be, thrown up against a wall. You will get paid quite well. All the small restaurants I've worked at pay above award. Always do. And you
get fed.
Yeah, you get fed. We always make sure that staff meal is great. We sit down for 30 minutes. We have a bit of banter. We get to check in with our loved ones, and we have a bit of a laugh. And no one like hates each other. No one's like trying to stitch each other up, or trying to make this life hell for this person, or it's not like that anymore. And
so you're happy with that environment, right? And you're happy to take that wage. It's a really interesting conversation. I think it really is like you say, if people are happy at the job, well then that should be it in some aspects. I think
it's a hard conversation because it's legislation. But
who's been the biggest inspirations to you within your career so far?
Definitely Sean Quaid. Sean Quaid, he took me in as just another commie with the potential, but he threw me right in the deep end, and he was like, swim because I know you can do it, and he just always nurtured me, always was willing to teach me, and not just how to cook or these different techniques, but also as once again the business side of things, and entrusting me with looking after the business and all that. So he's definitely one of them. I always look up to Clinton as well because he's such a hustler. He owns 100% of that restaurant. It's a very hard thing to own a fine dining restaurant where the margins are so skinny. The great thing about him is he's there every day. He's working hard for his business. He's working just as hard as you, if not harder. So you always take inspiration from that because your boss is right in there with the trenches, ready to go.
That's awesome. I love it when you work for someone like that.
Yeah, because it makes it,
shoulder to shoulder, innit?
Yeah.
Sure.
So those two guys are really two people I really look up to right now, and who are really my mentors.
That's great. It's great that you've got them. Do you know what I mean? It's great that you've got them. And what chefs? Not that people that you've known, but who are the chefs that you're looking up to? The Thomas Kellers back in my day, these kind of guys, the Roux brothers, and these are the people that I really looked up to.
I really look up to Corey Lee because I ate at Bennu a couple of years ago, and I was like, man, I don't ever knew Asian flavors or Asian techniques. Or
Korean, right?
Yeah.
South Korean?
Yeah, could be elevated to this level.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
And it's just innovative cooking, great flavors, and so I always look up to him, and I keep track of what they're doing at Bennu. I also look up to this guy called Jordi Navarra in Philippines. He just won the Mila One to Watch for Asia. He does
Filipino guy.
Yeah, Filipino guys in Manila. Actually, I ate at that restaurant by accident because I went there. I went to Philippines a couple of years ago for my mate's wedding, and I went by myself with a bunch of mates and their partners, but they had all family things to do. So I was all by myself in Manila. Had no family with me. My girlfriend at the time, or my fiance now, wasn't with me. So I was like, you know what? Let's book myself into this restaurant. Turned out to
Had you heard of it? No?
Yeah, we'd heard of it.
Yeah.
We'd been eating out a couple of days before, and
it's
like, you need to go to this place, you need to go to this place. All right, I booked myself in. And he's just doing things with Filipino food, not just Filipino food even. He's supporting local business. All of his plates are made by local potters. He actually helped me get my plates from Milan. He's sourcing local ingredients. He's reinventing local and Filipino techniques. And
Born and bred Filipino?
Born and bred Filipino. He
Yeah,
trained
awesome.
in London for a while, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
But he is actively promoting Filipino culture and Filipino cuisine to Asia and the world. So, like, I really look up to him because he is one of the pioneers who was Filipino, who was doing that and who's actually doing it very well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so he's one of the two that we look up to. You know, that we were talking just before that we started about the molecular gastronomy is kind of, we've passed that really. What would you say are the new techniques that people are looking at?
It's really popular to cook over fire now. I think every restaurant, every good restaurant now has a hibachi or a barbecue or a wood fire grill of some sort. And I think we're moving more towards that kind of instinctive, like elemental cooking. I just think that in Australia, we're just over fads and we're over trends. And well,
Just
the
a bit
trend,
more honest.
the trend is not to be with the trend. It's just making great, honest, tasty food that is relatable, no matter who you are. There's no like a niche to it. Now you think about the really great, tasty, successful restaurants right now. Like you think about Embla, you think about Sunda, like I mentioned before. Amaru as well. They just focus on tasty food, universally tasty food, that will relate. That's relatable whether you're in your 50s or your 40s or your 30s or your 20s. It's just good food, and that's really, I guess, the reason why we cook anyway.
If you could work in any restaurant in the world, which one would you work in?
Oh wow, I've always wanted to work at El Soler de Can Roca. I know we just talked about we don't really, the modernist thing isn't really in these days, but just like the stuff they do is pretty cool. Geordie Rocker makes things fly. Just to kind of be in that environment and see how they think or look at food. I really would like to go there. Obviously work at Toyo with Jordi Navarra, just to also understand my culture a little bit more and, be able to delve into those flavors and those techniques and ingredients.
Is it something you think about doing? Would you think you'd go and do stages there? Is it something that's on your mind?
I'd probably, I'd love to stage at Toyo. Probably not more so at El Soler, just because it's on the other side of the world. It's a massive commitment. The
problem is now with stages, I've said it time and time again, is they want so much from you. They want like a month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 6 months or whatever. Like the days of going over for like 4 days, 3 days. Unless you know them, then maybe let you come in and have a look. But you could that would still be nice to go for 3 days.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, you don't. Especially if you're in a job, like a full-time job, you can take a week off.
Yeah.
Go and do 4 days and still have a bit of flying time and the rest of it.
Yeah, and I know I've known people who've done 6 month stages, year stages as well. It's like, how much money do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you living? What are you eating?
Sure.
They do expect a lot from me, but if you really invest yourself in a stage and you really want to learn, you only need probably a week to see around and see what they do. But if you're just going somewhere to have that, you say, I was at El Soler, I was at Attica, I was that, just to say that, then may as well not be there because you're not learning anything anyway.
Yeah.
But I also kind of learn a lot from just eating out in these places. I'm that type of diner who asks a lot of questions when I eat. Like ask, how do they do this? How do they do that? Why this? Why that?
Especially inspiration. You can definitely get heaps of inspiration.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Phil Wood said to me when I was very young was, invest in your palate and invest in in your mind, like your head. That's your most powerful tool. Because I think it was everybody was getting really expensive knives in the kitchen one day. It's like, no, you guys need to invest in a spoon and taste things.
Yeah, that's a sick line. Was that Phil Wood?
Phil Wood was like, invest in a spoon. And he posted up on Instagram a couple of years later. He's like, he put a photo of a spoon on a story, and he's like, more chefs need to get this instead of a knife and just actually taste things.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
taste. That's all we used to get drilled.
Yeah.
Taste by Terry. But that's awesome. That's smart of Phil Wood.
So I've taken that to heart, and I spend too much money in just eating out, eating all these places. But it my parents still think, or my family still think, I waste money because I spend $1,000 a year on eating out. But and I joke around that it's research, but it kind of is. It's,
yeah, you can get your tax back on it anyway.
Yeah.
So it must be research.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite section? What is your favourite section? I know you said you enjoyed the pastry back at the beginning, but what's been your favourite section now?
I do like working meat. I do like working meat section. I think there's nothing more, or just meat, any protein of some sort, because there's nothing more fulfilling to me than like cooking a piece of meat or a piece of fish perfectly, and you slice it open and you reveal the cuisson, and it's just like bang on.
Yeah,
it's just like
they're the good days.
Yeah.
What about the other day? What about the other days when you cut into it and you think, fuck, I want to get screwed.
2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We always think about the good days.
Yeah. I've had bad days in pastry. I've had days where like I didn't have enough ice cream, so I just like I remember
churn milk, just churning the cream.
No, I remember it was Christmas last year at Amaru, and we were just getting hammered over Christmas, and it was like we're doing a crazy lunch into a crazy dinner, and I just ran out of ice cream, and I forgot to freeze it off, so ran out the back with a cool room is put in a Paco canister, shoved it in the back of my blast freezer, and I'm like, all right, until the first order comes in, and then I took it out, punched a hole in the middle of it, and just drained out all the excess, like not frozen stuff, and bunged it in the packager, and I was like, that was one of the most cowboy things I've ever done.
Yeah, I heard about someone who ran out of ice cream as well. It was recently. They know who they are if they're listening, and they went to the store, got some ice cream, brought it back, just added more vanilla and whatever else they wanted to add to it, rechurned it, and that was it. Good to go. They said it was all right. What do you do if you're out? You're out.
Yeah.
Like, it is. What
I
it
do
is.
love pastry as well, though. Pastry is still like one of my first loves, and I have a massive sweet tooth.
Your first girlfriend.
Yeah, you can always remember your first girlfriend.
Yeah.
I love making a good ice cream. When a good custard comes out, a good creme caramel comes out, and it's just got that wiggle, and just like
The Filipinos like sweet stuff anyway.
They love it. They've got a massive sweet tooth. Like even when I go over back to the Philippines, it tastes like their sandwich bread. It's sweet. It's almost like brioche. It's like, wow. And then we have pastries covered in sugar and butter. It's like, whoa. So
it's in you. It's in your blood.
Yeah, it's in me. I always my dad will come home with a block of chocolate and he'll just leave it on his bedside table. That's a snack every day.
What's your favourite job? Everyone I have mine. I love prepping artichokes and breaking down saddles of lamb. They're probably my two favourite jobs. Like when you roll the saddle of lamb. Yeah. I love rolling the saddle of lamb.
I'll give you a list of what I don't like so far.
Go on,
I don't like picking crab. Picking crab is a bit of a nightmare. I don't like prepping artichokes.
Don't you?
Yeah. What was my favourite job? I guess I used to love making the pabs at Bar and Grill, and I also still love making custards. Like custards are still one of my favourite things to eat, but even if it's like an anglaise or a baked custard, and just cooking it, a very nice custard, one with a wiggle, or a nice anglaise and a nice ice cream. That's my
custard
favourite.
tart is what you make. Yeah. Creme caramel, creme brulee.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favourite jobs. That really stick out.
Yeah, panna cottas, all these kind of things. Yeah, the wiggle. You like the wiggle.
I love the wiggle.
If we do go out for Filipino food, what should we be ordering?
You should definitely get adobo. So adobo is like the unofficial, official, like national dish of the Philippines. I say that because it's like, if you come over to my house, like I'll cook you a certain style of adobo, and you go to another person's house, they'll cook you something a little bit different, because the Philippines is 7,000 islands, and they cook it differently and with different ingredients. You should definitely get.
So what is adobo?
Oh, it's pretty much anything braised in soy sauce and vinegar. So it's a preservation technique, as it is a cooking or a dish, because there isn't much refrigeration back then, so they cook a lot of things in salt and vinegar to preserve them. You should also get sinigang, which is the hot and sour soup, which is so comforting.
Which is what you did your dish on, yeah?
Yeah, it's just comforting, and it's absolutely like heartwarming. You should also get leche flan. So leche flan is our version of creme caramel or creme catalana, and but we make it with egg yolks, condensed milk, and evaporated milk. So it's super rich. It's super rich, and it's just so silky and creamy, and
It's good.
Yeah,
What's it
good.
called? Tell me again.
Leche flan.
So
it's like
flan. Is that
yeah,
like
yeah? So it's like milk
yeah.
flan.
Yeah.
But because the Spanish took it to us, and then the Americans would have come with all their canned goods, and we just had to make it work. And egg yolks, condensed milk, and evaporated milk, because there's not much fresh milk in the Philippines.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's rich, it's dense.
Is it good?
It's good. It's good. I'll make it for you one day. I'll bring it over.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, I'd love to. Well, listen, to finish off, I want to just say ask you a bit of a quick fire. Which one would you take? Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather?
Oh, come on. Are you asking a Filipino that? We got robbed that fight. We got robbed against Brad Horn. Yeah,
Yeah, the Aussie guy.
yeah. I mean,
He won. I think he won his last fight, actually, Manny Pacquiao, I think.
he won against Matisse, and Brad Horn absolutely got smashed. So that was
Happy
I was
days.
like, yeah, sweet. But definitely Manny Pacquiao. He should have won that.
He's a Filipino legend, right?
He's the national hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a senator now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good for him. Ramen or a kebab?
Ramen.
Ramen.
Yeah, ramen.
Vanilla ice cream or strawberry ice cream?
Oh, you know when the fake like strawberry milk ice cream flavor? That's my absolute favorite. That's my dirty pleasure. So you get like a Neapolitan. My dad will always take the chocolate. I'll always take the strawberry, and we'll leave the vanilla for someone.
Mum.
Yeah, whoever wants it. Strawberry, definitely.
Strawberry. Slow braised or cooked over fire?
Cooked over fire.
Okay.
Over fire.
And the finish, cheese or dessert?
Both. Can I choose both?
Yeah, go on. Why
I
not?
mean, like-
Would you go cheese then dessert, or do you go dessert then cheese?
Definitely cheese and then dessert. I still remember when I ate at Le Doyen, like the cheese trolley came out. It's like, yep. Like, I can't choose between them.
Yeah. But the thing is people say you should finish on sweet.
Yeah.
But me personally, I like to have dessert then cheese.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I like to sit on the cheese.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, I like to let it sit there and
Let it open up.
and just I don't know. I just find cheese a bit more chatty. Like dessert, I'm into it. I'm like analysing it. If it's got an ice cream or something that can melt or cream that can go soft or something along those lines, you want to eat it. Where get a glass of wine, port, whatever it might be, and just finish off on that.
I like that.
Yeah,
I want to think about that more now.
That's what I do. Yeah, so but to choose between dessert and cheese, I'm probably the same. I'd say both.
It's hard, isn't it?
We're a bit fat. That's what we do.
Just a little bit.
That's what we do. We eat too much and we
Yeah.
enjoy ourselves.
Yeah,
That's what we do. All right, John, thanks very much for coming.
Thanks so much,
I
Rob.
much appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Good luck. Congratulations again on the new position.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with it all. I hope nothing but good things come for you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Take it easy. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please tell a friend or give us a rating or review on your podcast app. It all helps to get more listeners. Thanks. Until next week, have a good one.